Tough night down here in Tuscaloosa. Final score 34-20. Alabama scores 27 unanswered in the second half. After a really impressive first half from Tennessee, that's why you play 4 quarters. Tennessee does lose 34-20. I'm Eric Kane, Matt Ray, Austin Price here today. Tennessee falls to 5-2 and 2-2 in Southeastern Conference play. At the end of the day, Austin, again, we talked about in the 2-minute drill, it was a tale of two halves. Tennessee did so many things well in the first half. Alabama came out, made adjustments. Tennessee did not respond well. Penalties got in their way. Josh Heupel got in their way, and overall their playing got in their way. It was a bad second half.
Yeah, it was a bad second half. I mean, you could point fingers at a number of different areas. No second or lack of second half adjustments, or ability to adjust to Alabama's second half adjustments. Probably the best way to say it. Alabama did make second half adjustments. They went out and won it. Now Tennessee was playing, 11 on more than 11. I mean the officiating was trash. But that's not why they lost the game either. Jalen Milroe was able to make some plays. He had a lot better time, a lot more time in the second half. Again, partly because of the officials.
There were some holdings. Egregious holdings.
There's holding in every game of football. There's holding on a lot of plays. Sometimes Tennessee holds in a game and they don't call that. But it was just blatant. One, over and over again. And, again, the 2 fourth downs, especially the one in the second half, it's hard to look at that and not think, what if, because Jackson Ross looked like Ray Guy out there tonight.
He did.
I mean, I think Bill Martin, Tennessee's SID, told me that he was right there, potentially set the single game record for yards per punt. I mean, he was fantastic. And you took that out of his hands, to go forward on 4th down, and then you go forward out of the shotgun. Where's the tush push?
Yeah.
I said that to you guys up in the press box. Doing it out of the shotgun, this offensive line ain't last year's offensive line. And even then, I would tell you that's not smart. Last year, they got under center and handed it to Princeton Fant or handed it to whoever. They did some quarterback sneaks with Hendon Hooker. This year, they've not really done that. Why? I mean, I plan on asking Heupel that on Monday. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, why they, continue to go out of the shotgun in these crucial third and fourth down situations where you got to get a yard, half a yard, whatever.
Matt, we asked Josh Heupel post-game, and, they're in a hurry. There wasn't a whole lot of time. We did ask him a couple of different times, hey, why did you go for it on this 4th down? Why did you go for it on this 4th down? Where was the adjustments or lack thereof to what Alabama was doing? From your standpoint on the sideline, I mean, it's clear as day. Good first half, bad second half. What did you see?
Yeah, I thought one thing for me, I picked Tennessee heading into the day.
So did I.
I said
first half we were sitting pretty, weren't we?
Yeah, we were sitting pretty, and I based it on Josh Heupel bouncing back as a play caller, and he did in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part. But the 4th down decisions were head scratchers. Joe Milton, 6'5", 240 pounds. Get under center, sneak it, get somebody in behind him, McCollin Castles, whoever, and push him.
The first 4th down, your defense bailed you out by a heck of a play. Danico Slaughter tapping it back in or getting in the way, whatever it was, and of course McCullough picked it off, but that was still a bad decision in the second one as well.
Absolutely. And then the other part for me being down here, it just seems like when the games, especially on the road, get away from Tennessee, they get away from Tennessee. I mean, James Pierce was not a factor in the 4th quarter because he was on the sideline.
Yeah.
You can't have that happen. They got trapped with Caleb Perry in a couple of times where Alabama was able to pick up 3rd downs, a couple of Milroe's legs, which ideally he should be there to, alleviate some of that. So some of those things just went awry for Tennessee tonight, and when those games get away from them on the road, it's away from them. It goes in a hurry, and it snowballs, and that's something that they have to fix, because nowhere you go in this conference is it easy to play on the road, and you're going to Kentucky next week and Missouri next month. So buckle up.
Austin, I say coming into the game, a big reason why I picked Tennessee to win is because I thought Tennessee was better, point blank on paper. Now, that's why you go out and play the game, but I said my 2 variables, obviously, you got to get better quarterback play. First half, Joe was really good.
Yeah.
And second half, of course, he had that strip sack and all that. I mean, that came from this blind side. I wouldn't say he played just horrendously in the second half, but he's the quarterback, and the offense didn't do anything. The other variable was the crowd noise. How do you handle the environment? Up until the very end, guys, until the game was out of hand, I thought Tennessee handled the environment very well. It just was a second half where defensively you were not good, and offensively behind Joe Milton in the second half, you just couldn't find a rhythm at all.
No, again, 175 through the air in the first half, a little over 50 in the second. Joe still not had a 300-yard game. I told y'all at halftime I thought for Tennessee to win, he's got to get to 300 yards, which means he had to throw for 125 in the second half. And he didn't do it. Barely threw for over 50. Some of that was in garbage time, just checking it down there in the last 2 minutes, just padding stats, so to speak. And I thought the atmosphere was okay. For a guy that they kept playing him on the jumbotron stuff, I didn't think they were that loud. Georgia last year was far louder. It wasn't even close, actually.
Florida this year was louder.
I thought Tennessee was fine handling everything on the road. Listen, at the end of the day, the conference has to be better. Greg Sankey's got to be held accountable. The officiating sucked. It was bad. Again, is that why Tennessee lost? No, Tennessee shot themselves in the foot on a couple of occasions. But I do think that it added to it, and it made it where the end of the game was more anticlimactic. Squirrel White was mauled down here with 2 minutes to go.
Yep.
That's a joke. I'm not saying that, the ticky-tack stuff you can call in any play. When there's a blatant mugging and you don't call it and you're looking right at it, what's wrong with you all? The officiating has continually gotten worse the last 5-10 years, and it's going to have to be, I think everybody's got to take a look at it. If I was Heupel, I know he didn't say anything when I asked him, I would have taken the fine. It's a joke. They can't fine me. It's a joke. So, Tennessee's got to find a way to make sure that this game doesn't beat them twice. I'll continue to reiterate, if they can win next week, and again, a lot of what Kentucky does well, Tennessee does a good job of stopping, right? Tennessee stops the run really, really well. Tennessee's not a great passing team. They ought to be able to get after Devin Leary. But they've got to win that football game. If they win that game, it's only the second time, last year being the other, that they've been 6-2 heading into November. And they play UConn after that. They'll be 7-2, but 3 to go. You've got to find a way to win next week. I get this one stings. If I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm pissed at the fourth down decisions by Heupel.
Yep.
I'm pissed at the officiating. I'm pissed that we were up 20-7 in Tuscaloosa at the half, and they got outscored 27-0 in the second half. But you got to move on. It is what it is. Well, I bitch all you want to tonight and move on tomorrow.
Absolutely. I agree about the officiating. I agree about the fourth down calls. Some of the play calling, maybe, especially in the first half, Matt. I want to go back to that first half, and I'm sitting up there in that press box, and I turn to Grant Ramey, and I say, these threes are going to come back to bite you in the butt against good teams, against Alabama.
And that's why I'm saying, it's not all on the refs. Yeah. I agree with that. Tennessee's got to finish drives. Field goals in the first half, if they score 2 more touchdowns there, what's the game look like?
Yeah, exactly. Tennessee on the season now, 11 touchdowns and 26 red zone trips. That is not a winning formula, and that's a big reason why Tennessee lost tonight.
No, and the way you called the drive here to end the half was the way you needed to call the first 2 drives in the, when you had a chance and ended up having to kick field goals. You got away from the run. It felt like all year you've got away from the run, or got away from the pass at some point. You got to find some balance. You got to find some confidence, it feels like. And it felt like right there at the end of the half, Josh Heupel knew how important that was. He called a confident drive to end the half.
Oh, that was a great sequence.
Yeah.
Now, not finishing the middle late on the other half,
right?
But just score right there the way you did before half. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was a great touch by Joe. Great touch by Joe. When the one to Warren was not a good touch by Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. You won the first part of the middle eight, and then
you won the 4.
Yeah,
you won the first 4.
Yeah, but the first 2 drives in the red zone there where you had to kick the field goals, you just felt like those would come back to bite Tennessee, and it did.
Austin just kind of said this. We'll kind of wrap things up here, Matt. You got to turn the page. You got to move on now. Be pissed tonight. You should be pissed. Tennessee was, again, I said in the 2-minute drill, at points and times in the first half, it was a dominant performance. Tennessee was not only controlling this football game, it was up 20-7, and it was bullying Alabama. Joe Milton running the football. It was good to see, all that type of stuff. But you got to turn the page. We'll continue to break this down. We'll have all of our reaction stuff on Sunday and later on the night and everything. But you got Kentucky. It's going to be on the road. It'll be chilly, all that type of stuff. But you have an opportunity, as Austin pointed out, to go to 6-2 for only the second time since Philip Former was last here. A lot of football still left to play, and this locker room's got to get ready to turn that page.
Yeah, absolutely. I think AP said it best. 6-2, UConn coming to town, and then you have a lot left to play for in November.
Anything else, Austin, from this game? Anything else you want to kind of say as we wrap things up here from Tuscaloosa? Tennessee falls 34-20.
No. And before anybody asks, I'm sure that we'll get asked, they're not making a change at quarterback. Joe wasn't the problem today. Decisions, play calling, other factors, that was the problem. Again, Tennessee's got to figure out a way to beat Kentucky next week, starting tomorrow.
Tennessee led 20-7 at halftime, was outscored 27-0 in the second half of play. We are here in the stands at Bryant-Denny Stadium. We got the blowers. They're trying to kick us out. We got to go. Final score, Tennessee loses 34-20. For Austin Price and Eric Cade, Matt Ray, 34-20, the final score, Tennessee falls in Tuscaloosa.